Hello, welcome. You can come right in and have a seat. Perfect timing, by the way. That's a great first impression. I have a couple of things to ask you. First, I just want to let you know this is going to be pretty laid back. I am going to ask you some questions, but I simply just want you to be your honest, truthful self. I want to make sure that our personalities are compatible, and of course can't really do that if you are not being your truthful self and if you have any type of facade. So I just ask you to be yourself. Being yourself is best. Let's see, just to clarify, can we just start with your name? Amazing. Actually, I really like that name a lot. Alright, let's see. And then can I ask you, what made you apply for this position? I'm super curious. Okay. That's a very interesting. Well, I like that answer. Sounds like you might be a good fit for this position then. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I just feel like that tells me a lot about your character. And then I also want to know, how do you feel about keeping things very, very tidy? Specifically like my work schedule, my office area, all of that. You'd say you have really good organization skills? Perfect. Let me take 1 second and make a quick note. Just to refer back to. Okay, now that we got that noted. Now, do you like to, for organization or leaving me a note, what would be your ideal way? Would you text me? Would you email me? Would you write me a sticky note? Depends on the direness of the situation. Okay, I can appreciate that. I think you'd be good at reading the room, it seems like. Do you feel like you would consider yourself to be a person that can sense when other people are either anxious or upset, also known as like an empathic person? You can feel other people's energy. You do feel that way to an extent? Okay. And how good are you with, like, say, keeping secrets, some late night ideas, some random spur of the moment plans, things that I do in my life? Would you be able to keep that on the very down low? You would? Perfect. Alright, let me bring up, I have some other general questions. And that should reflect, did I print that out here? Let me check. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay. Some general background questions just to kind of get to know your vibe a little bit better. Obviously, I do have your resume. I have looked at it pretty extensively, which is obviously the reason why you're sitting in my office right now as a possible candidate for the position. My first question, again, just answer these as truthful as you can. I don't need some enormous, long, strung out response, but just as pretty much straight to the point and accurate as you can, okay? Alright. My first question is, how do you prioritize tasks when everything feels urgent? Okay. Interesting. I do appreciate your response on that. My next question is going to be, describe your personal ideal working situation, so like the environment as a whole. What would you say would be most ideal for you? Okay. So it sounds like you're saying that you would enjoy an environment where everyone's kind of on the same page, there's tasks that need to be done, and everyone is kind of delegated to doing their own task, and while maintaining a healthy workplace, pretty much like, no harassment, no negative talk, anything like that. Okay. Very good. Okay. Now I'm going to give you a practical scenario, and I just want you to tell me what you would do in this situation, okay? If your boss, aka me, is double booked, somehow the schedule got messed up and I'm double booked to be in 2 places or 2 meetings or 2 luncheons at the same time, how would you go about handling this situation? Okay. Okay. And I am listening to you, by the way. Let me just make a note. You can keep talking. Okay. I very much appreciate that answer. You are asked to plan a last-minute business trip. What is going to be the first thing that you do to start planning? Okay. All right, very resourceful. Thank you. My next question for you is going to be, how would you handle a task that has been delegated to you that is outside of your job description? So someone higher up tells you this is what you have to do, but you know that's not in your job description, you know it's technically not your job. How would you go ahead and handle that? Okay. Okay. Well, I can very much appreciate your take on that, and I do like that you would seek external help, and I think that is a very valid response. Okay, my next question, another practical scenario. Your boss asks you for a report that someone else was responsible for. How do you handle it? Okay. Excellent. Lovely. My next question is going to do with personality and communication, okay? How do you stay calm under pressure? Do you have tactics? Do you have a mental note that you tell yourself? What is it that allows you to remain calm during super stressful events or situations or days? Okay. Perfect. How do you deal with vague instructions or unclear explanations? If I tell you, hey, we got boxes of inventory, I need you to bring them in, put SKUs on all of them, and put them in the exact place that they're supposed to go, which is just a mental map in my mind, and no such arrangement has been laid out. How would you know what to do? Or what would you do? Okay. Perfect. So I do appreciate that because I personally, as a boss, would rather tell you something 2, 3, 4 times. Of course, preferably like the first conversation we have about it, but I would not mind expelling extra details over and over to make sure that you understood what needs to be done. I would rather you just be upfront and honest, first, right off the rip, like, hey, I don't know what you're talking about, or I don't even have any inkling of idea of where to start. Let me know. Let anyone else that you work with know, because we're all just like a team here. We're all family. We all want everyone else to succeed. It's not, oh, my position is higher than yours. Figure it out yourself. None of that's tolerated. We all are here to help and support each other. So anytime you don't know whether if the on clarification came from me or somebody else, just say, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, please tell me again. All right, excellent. My next question for you is going to be, do you prefer written or verbal communication? Depends on the topic. Can you give me an example of when you would prefer verbal versus when you would prefer written? Sure. Okay. So maybe written more so when it comes to anything that could be considered conflict or a little bit upsetting. Absolutely. Good to know. My next question for you is, how do you ensure that nothing falls through the cracks on a super busy day? Say there's a lot to get done and everything needs to be done at the end of the day to meet the quota for the day. How would you ensure that not one singular thing was forgotten? Liz, you were ready for that, huh? Okay. Is that your only way? Do you have anything else you would do? Perfect. All right. My next question for the personality and communication is going to be, what do you personally think makes a great assistant truly indispensable? Someone you wouldn't want to replace, someone that technically cannot be replaced. Okay. Okay. Definitely. I definitely agree on that one. So it sounds like you're saying just building a really good relationship and work friendship with your boss and making sure that all your skills are up to par and as high quality of skills as what is required of you. Okay. Very good. Very, very good. Alright. Now I'm just going to ask you just a few more random questions to finish off the remainder of the interview. I do want to let you know I have a few more people to interview, but I very much like how you've conducted yourself and expressed yourself and the way you carry yourself. I do think at this exact moment that you would be a very good fit for this position. I do just have to finish the other interviews that were promised, but with that being said, let me finish up with these following questions. We'll get you out of here, and then I most likely will be seeing you very soon. So with that being said, my next question is going to be, if I gave you a magic wand to instantly improve one skill of yours, just one, what would it be? Really? So do you feel like you're not as creative as you would like, or in what tense, or kind of, can you give me a little bit of background to why you would say that? Okay. No, very much so. Understood. Thank you for elaborating. What would you say would be your personal superpower within the workplace? That organization's on point, huh? Okay. How do you like to be managed? Do you like to be told like what to do all of the time? Do you like suggestions? Do you like to just strictly ask questions and know what you're supposed to do? How do you prefer to be managed? Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Okay, so like over the last few years? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I guess just to get a kind of final look into your personality, what's your favorite way to unwind after a long day at work? No judgments here, just openly speak. Really? That's interesting. You don't really strike me as the type. I guess that's a good thing, you leave a little bit for the unexpected, the unknown. Okay. Well, I very much respect that. Let me close out your application here. This is like just my notes that I can refer back to. Do you have any other questions or anything you want to add before I close this out? Just that you really want this job? Okay. Well, from just our short, 15-20 minute talk, I really genuinely like the skill sets that you have. I like your personality. You do have good experience. I would say adequate experience for what I'm looking for. Typically, I like to have people that have at least 5 years experience doing assistant work or management work, etc. You have everything literally perfect. Hit the nail on the head with every single point. I like your responses. I think you're quick-witted. I think you're educated and you carry yourself in a very smart demeanor. And I really like you. And I think you would be a very good fit for this job. I can't offer you the job yet, of course. Just a few more interviews. They will all wrap up by tomorrow around 2 p.m. And then you'll be hearing from me. I can already tell you I've interviewed 7 people already. And you're the only person that has far exceeded any expectations, like beyond. So I'm very, very happy with you just as an applicant and you as a person. So with that being said, that does conclude our interview for today. I want you to go home, get some rest, and know that very, very soon you're going to have a new job. Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for your application, for coming in. Get home safely, and we'll be in touch soon, okay?